What's going on, 49er faithful? You are tuned in to a Sunday edition of Keeping the Faith. I'm JD, and the San Francisco 49ers returned to the practice field today down in Santa Clara for day 4 of 49ers training camp. A ton transpired down there in Santa Clara today at the practice facility. Some good, some bad, and we're here to talk about it. A lot actually happened today, even though it was the 49ers' fourth non-padded practice of camp. It was, coming off of an off day on Saturday when the team did not practice. A lot happened down there in Santa Clara today, so there's quite a bit to get to. Some very important storylines and topics have developed throughout the course of the day, so we will talk about them all here. But first, I want to say what's up to all the Niners fans who are watching the show live right now. So if you're here, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have your notification bells turned on so you know exactly whenever we go live, whenever we drop any content here on this channel. And if you are participating in the show within the show, the live chat, if you will, be sure to drop your ones. Say what's up so I can see who's here. I like to take roll, and I like to say what's up and hello to all of the supporters of the channel who happen to participate in our live stream. So, go out, take a minute, drop your ones, and I'll say what's up to you. I see my guy Fly Eastside tuning in. He says, "You the man." Now, how can I be the man if you the man? Fly Eastside, I don't know. You tell me. I see David Coper chiming in with his one on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. What's up, David? Thank you for tuning in. Saw you stop by the stream before it even began, so thank you so much. But let's get on into it because there is a lot of ground to cover here today, coming off of the 49ers' fourth non-padded practice. Now, we all know pads come on tomorrow, Monday, in Santa Clara, and of course, we'll be live talking about that, 4:30 Pacific on Monday. But this is the last non-padded practice, and you just want to get into the next phase of training camp healthy and ready to go and have everyone ready to put the pads on and really get to playing some real football. But coming out of 49ers training camp today, there were a ton of injury updates, injury news, injury storylines. That was the main topic, the main theme of today's practice down there in Santa Clara and post-practice with the press conference from Kyle Shanahan. So we will definitely address all that stuff. One thing of note for today's practice down there is that running back Christian McCaffrey, defensive end Nick Bosa, left tackle Trent Williams, and tight end George Kittle all had veteran rest days. Even coming off of a rest day on Saturday, the 49ers elected to give those veterans and key starters another day off before the team gets into pads on Monday. So good on the 49ers for giving them a little extra time off, making sure these guys are fully ready to go when things get cracking on Monday with pads coming on. So you hear about the 49ers wanting to protect guys like Christian McCaffrey from themselves, and giving Christian McCaffrey the day off in a non-padded practice is not necessarily a bad thing. So I support that decision today to sit those guys. So let's start with what was probably the scariest moment down at 49ers training camp today, as reserve defensive lineman Teron Jackson sustained what is believed to be a neck injury, and he laid on his back on the turf flat for several minutes before ultimately having to be taken out on a stretcher and carted off. He was taken to Stanford Hospital for further evaluation. Good news is he had feeling in all his extremities. He remained conscious throughout, and he was talking to everyone. So, big time thoughts and prayers out to Teron Jackson. Let's hope it's not too serious and hope that he can return to his teammates very, very soon. It definitely was something that shook up the 49ers players on the field. Kyle Shanahan kind of huddled together with the group after that whole situation played out. He asked the team if they wanted to continue. He was ready to call practice if the players didn't feel up to it. However, the players said, "No, coach, we're good. We can do this. He's all right. We can finish practice." And the 49ers did just that. So definitely something that I wanted to address right off the top, and something that we will want to monitor moving forward. One of, if not the biggest headlines coming into today's practice was the return of wide receiver Ricky Pearsall, as he was activated from the PUP list heading into today's practice, and he made his 2025 49ers training camp debut. And just like I figured he would, he picked up where he left off with Brock Purdy from the offseason and from the tail end of the 2024 campaign as well, immediately showing a strong rapport with quarterback Brock Purdy. The two connected on a touchdown on a slant in the red zone period. Pearsall's first catch of training camp in team drills came by that touchdown pass from Purdy to Pearsall. He was not done, however. He did connect with Purdy on a pass over the middle of the field later in the period on a back shoulder play. So Ricky Pearsall quickly assimilating himself back into this 49ers offense and looking like he's going to be one of Brock Purdy's go-to targets this coming season. And who's been telling you that all offseason? Ricky Pearsall is going to have a breakout year, and I've been telling you, everyone's talking about Jauan Jennings being the 49ers' number one receiver. You're hearing a lot of news and buzz around Demarcus Robinson, but I've been telling you guys all offseason, Ricky Pearsall is going to be the 49ers' number one wide receiver this year and Brock Purdy's favorite target. And he got off to a great start in training camp today, connecting with Brock Purdy. So, when it happens, just come back and say, hey, JD, you called it. Just do me that favor, guys, if you're watching right now. Don't, remember who told you that Ricky Pearsall was going to be the guy for the 49ers this year. Also, regarding Brock Purdy, after missing Friday's practice due to a personal matter, Brock Purdy did return to the practice field today. All indications are the personal matter was resolved and everything's good. We don't know exactly what the situation was. In my opinion, and I said this last stream, I don't really care, and I don't mean that in a negative way. What I mean is that I don't like what people speculate about personal matters, and I think these guys deserve to have some privacy and not every little bit of their personal life being blasted out there on social media. So whatever Brock Purdy is dealing with, I'm glad things are good, at least from what we've heard. And I'm glad to see that he was back on the practice field with the 49ers today on Sunday. That's what should matter to the media and the 49ers fans, not what he's got going on at home. Like, just focus on the field. That's your job. That's his job. Let's focus on that stuff. And good to know everything's all right with Brock Purdy. So aside from that, to me, there was a lot of things that transpired on the practice field, and we will get to my takeaways from things that actually happened during practice. But to me, the biggest news of the day with the 49ers, aside from the return of Ricky Pearsall, it's on the injury front. A ton of injury news came down today from Santa Clara. After practice, Kyle Shanahan spoke with the media and gave updates on the hamstring injuries to both wide receiver Jacob Cowing as well as cornerback Renardo Green. Both of those players are expected to miss approximately 2 to 3 weeks, with the approximate return timetable being around that Raiders preseason game, the second week of the preseason in Las Vegas. Of course, the 49ers do have joint practices scheduled with the Raiders that week. And by all accounts, the expectation is that both of those guys will hopefully be back on the field by then. So at least it's not appearing to be anything too severe, but you definitely want to, err on the side of caution in these situations with hamstrings. Those things can linger and impact a player's entire season if they let it. So I say give these guys as much time off as they need. But it's good to know that it's not as severe as it could have been, with both players expected to be back in a couple of weeks. So silver lining there, in my opinion. Now let's get to perhaps the biggest bit of injury news that came out of Santa Clara today, and that is involving wide receiver Jauan Jennings. Now, we all know the situation with Jauan Jennings. He wants a new contract. The rumors are that he wanted a new contract or a trade. However, Jauan Jennings was a total professional, showed up to training camp on time, and has been practicing with his teammates every day. But today, Jauan Jennings left the practice early with what the 49ers are referring to as a calf issue. Now, Kyle Shanahan did also say that it is the same issue that Jauan Jennings dealt with during the offseason program. And as 49ers, fans and people that watch the 49ers, you have to kind of cringe every single time you hear the term, calf issue, calf injury with 49ers players, because in professional sports, 9 times out of 10, those calf injuries, if they are not treated, if the players are not, rehabbed in the right way, do not get the proper kind of rest and rehabilitation, those calf injuries can often turn into more severe things like Achilles tears. And to hear that Jauan Jennings has dealt with a calf issue throughout the offseason, and now that issue is resurfacing with a re-aggravation of what Kyle Shanahan referred to as the same kind of calf issue, that is alarming. That is definitely something that is not anything that 49ers fans want to hear. The Niners have already been dealing with enough soft tissue injuries through the first couple of days of training camp. And now to hear Jauan Jennings, who is in line for a big contract extension, has sustained what is being referred to as a calf issue or calf injury. There is no word on the severity or how much time he may or may not miss. Now, I'm sure we will get further updates this coming week, with the 49ers obviously being back out on the practice field on Monday. Hopefully it is not too severe. And I'm going to take it a step further in saying I hope this does not cause any sort of problems with the ongoing negotiations between Jauan Jennings and the 49ers on a new contract. It does raise the question, with me at least, is this why the 49ers were so hesitant to pay Jauan Jennings? Because he's been dealing with a calf issue all offseason, and we know how these calf issues can go. But you can look at it in that kind of light, but you can also look at it from the perspective of, look, he's been out there practicing with the 49ers here early on in training camp, so he was at least good enough to go when training camp started. But it's not a good look that he's re-aggravated the calf issue that he's been dealing with this offseason. We know how these things go. See Christian McCaffrey and what happened with his calf issues last year. Not good news. I'll be blunt. Not good news for Jauan Jennings and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I don't want to jump to any conclusions or jump the gun. We don't know exactly what's going on, but that's kind of the problem. It leads you to speculate. It leads you to go down the rabbit hole of, what have you seen with other players who have dealt with calf injuries that have been, an ongoing problem. A lot of times those do turn into Achilles tears, just like with Christian McCaffrey and his Achilles tendonitis. Let's hope the Jauan Jennings issue is not that. The 49ers in the past have definitely referred to Achilles injuries as calf injuries, and not weren't exactly very specific or what's the word? They weren't very forthcoming with that sort of information, and they always just kind of refer to it as a calf injury. So let's hope things are not too bad for Jauan Jennings. And now my mindset shifts to what's going to happen with this contract extension. There was a report early this morning on X/Twitter that the 49ers and Jauan Jennings were approaching an agreement on a new 2-year deal worth up to over about $13 million average annual value per season, with more guaranteed money. But now, given that Jauan Jennings has sustained a re-aggravation of that calf injury, where does that go? Where do we go from here? Where does Jauan Jennings go from here? How do the 49ers approach this moving forward? That is going to be, I would say, probably the talk of the remainder of camp, as long as Jauan Jennings is out of practice and the contract is not signed. So definitely not great news on the wide receiver front, especially considering the 49ers have already been dealing with a ton of injuries in that department early on in training camp, with Jacob Cowing's hamstring, Ricky Pearsall just returning from a hamstring, and not a second too soon now that Jauan Jennings is out. So, let's think positive thoughts for Jauan Jennings. Let's hope that it's not too serious and he'll be back out there very soon. But for me, I'm the skeptical type. I am the pessimistic type, and so not good news. Not good news, in my opinion, regarding Jauan Jennings on the injury front. Let's see. We also got an update post practice on the legal situation with cornerback Diamador Lenore. That was something that everyone was paying attention to, wanting to see what was going on there, as Diamador Lenore had a court hearing down in Los Angeles County on the 25th. He gave an update post practice and said that he has not heard anything regarding the status of his case and any potential dismissal of charges from his misdemeanor obstruction of justice charge down there in LA after his run-in with the LAPD in June. He also went on to publicly apologize to the 49ers organization, his teammates, the coaches, and his family for putting himself in a position that he shouldn't have been in. He knows he said it himself that he knows better, and he's not a dummy. He knows that he needs to make better choices, and he will be doing that moving forward. So good on Diamador Lenore for not running from it, not hiding from it, and obviously, he came out and apologized for it. So now all we can do is wait and see what happens with the legal process, and if the charges are dismissed. I would say there's a very good chance that nothing happens further from that on the NFL's end. Even if there is anything that happens, I don't suspect that Diamador Lenore will be suspended due to the severity of what happened and then the story based on what transpired down there in LA. I would think maybe he gets some kind of a fine potentially, but let's just hope this goes away. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And Diamador Lenore wants to move past it, and he's apologized, and good on him. So we will definitely pay attention there, but a little bit of an update on the Diamador Lenore front. Now, before we get into my takeaways from what actually happened on the practice field today, let me check in with you guys in the live chat. I love to engage with my viewers in the live chat during my streams. It's, I try to be one of the more interactive hosts here on YouTube when it comes to 49ers talk. And, I like to talk to you guys, man. I like to see what the faithful are thinking and feeling in real time. So Big Brick 84 says, what's up, JD? What's up, Big Brick? Thank you for tuning in as always. Let's see what else we got. Keys chiming in says, health to Tehran. Hope he will be good to do what he loves. Absolutely. Let's hope he's back out there very, very soon. Let's see what else we got. Callie Young tuning in, man. What's up, Callie? Long time no see. I see you on other streams. I've been wondering when you were going to make your way back over here, man. I know you're a longtime viewer of the channel. He says, what's up, JD? Great to see you back on these YouTube streets, my G. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in, my guy. Let's see who else we got and in the chat today. And by the way, Callie, I've been back since January. So, but good to see you. Good to see you back here. Big Brick 84 says JJ should be okay. I hope. That's the mood right there. Just the way that sounded, the way that read, the way that looks on screen. That's the vibe right now. JJ should be all right. Hopefully. That's the scary part. There's a lot of unknown right now, and we all know how these calf injuries can go. So hopefully the news with Jauan Jennings' calf injury is not too severe. Let's just keep our fingers crossed, guys. Absolutely. Papa J says JJ's leg will suddenly be okay as soon as they give him that contract. That is not the worst statement I've seen regarding the whole Jauan Jennings injury situation. Something similar to Alfred Collins. Alfred Collins throughout the offseason program had not signed his deal and was seen with a walking boot on. You were hearing about the lower leg injury that he'd been dealing with. And, magically, as soon as he signed his rookie deal and reported to training camp, he was good to go. And he's been on the practice field every day since. There might be something to that. Maybe Jauan Jennings went out there today and maybe he felt a little soreness and he just, maybe he made a business decision and said, all right, you know what? I'm good, but we need to get this done. Like how many days are you going to make me practice out here before we get this contract done? Especially given the fact that pads come on tomorrow. Maybe Jauan Jennings is thinking, hey, why is this contract not done? Pads are coming on tomorrow. Things are about to be ratcheted up a notch big time. We need to get this thing done now. Maybe you're on something there. That's not something that I thought of. That's not a bad perspective with regards to Jauan Jennings. Billy Badass chiming in. He says, "Go Niners, woo." What up, Billy? Thank you for tuning in, my guy. He also says, "What do you think the new rivalry jerseys are going to look like?" I don't know. We got the news recently that those rivalry jerseys will be released on August the 28th. And Billy, if you haven't seen it, go on my channel. I actually released a video earlier in the week regarding a New Era hat that was circulating online with a brand new logo on it that I believe to be a leak of the rivalry uniform logo. It was a New Era hat with red saloon font numbers 49 on the hat. And I believe that's what we're going to see is some red numbers on the front of the jerseys, gold trim in the saloon font, the numbers 49, that's kind of what I'm thinking now. In terms of the color of the jersey, you could tell me that the jerseys are black. You can tell me that the jerseys are red. You can tell me that the jerseys are white or gold, and I would believe you based on all the teaser videos and things that we've seen so far. There is nothing concrete to me. Nothing stands out to me over anything else regarding any of the rumors that we've seen, any of the teaser videos. I'm just as anxious as all of you are regarding those rivalry jerseys and when they come out at the end of August. And every single day, the 49ers admin team are out there teasing Niner fans on social media. It's getting a little annoying, but they know what they're doing. You also saw a video of the 49ers players reacting in real time to seeing the rivalry jerseys for the first time. And every player seemed to like them. Every player was pretty hyped up about it. And George Kittle had something extremely telling to say when he was looking at the new rivalry jerseys in that reaction video. And he said something about an ode to the old school. So I'm not sure what that means, but I like it. I like that maybe they're not doing something too out of the box, too brand new. Anything with the 49ers, you need to keep it classic. The 49ers are a traditional franchise. They are a pillar of the NFL. They are one of the staples of the NFL. Their color scheme, their logo, their font, the saloon font is just absolutely classic. It is timeless. And if you mess with that, you're doing something wrong. The way the 49ers have their uniform set up now is absolutely perfect. And if they do anything overly drastic, it's going to be responded to negatively by the fan base. I can tell you that. I will say I am seeing a lot of Niner fans kind of advocating for the return of a black jersey. I'm just going to tell you right now, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The black jerseys, the first time, were not good. There was a reason they were scrapped after 2 years. And those aren't 49er football. Leave the black jerseys, leave the gimmicks to the franchises that need gimmicks. The 49ers are not one of those franchises. The 49ers color scheme, logo, it's timeless. It is classic. It's perfect in every way. Don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's all I got to say. Like, those rivalry jerseys better not be a black jersey. That's all I'm telling you. We'll see. And I'll definitely be reacting to those when those drop at the end of August for sure. Let's see what else we got in the chat. Okay. Yeah. See you guys reacting to the jersey talk. Callie says, "Thank you, JD. Those black jerseys were garbage." They weren't good. I can tell you that. Let me get to my other takeaways from practice today, guys. I do have some notes that I took down based on what occurred today down in Santa Clara on the practice field that have nothing to do with injuries. So let's talk about some positive things that happened today down in Santa Clara. Wide receiver Russell Gage continues to impress and make plays during training camp. He had a touchdown today during the team period. He's been stacking some very solid days here early in camp. He is a veteran wide receiver who has made plays in this league before. And as of right now, it looks like he's playing his way onto this roster. And with the 49ers having so many injuries on the wide receiver front, having a solid veteran, a reliable veteran who knows how to play in the NFL and can be relied upon to go out there and make catches. Nothing fancy, but just go out there and do his job. That's an encouraging sign to see Russell Gage making plays here early on in training camp. Now let's see what happens when the pads come on, but I have no doubts that Russell Gage is going to keep, building some momentum for himself. Next takeaway, and this has been one that we've been hitting on almost every single day when we do these training camp updates. Mykel Williams, the rookie first-round pick out of Georgia, continues to dominate on the interior of the defensive line when he rotates in to the defensive tackle spot in the NASCAR package. Yet again, he beats Dominic Pooney for what would have been a sack on quarterback Brock Purdy today. Mykel Williams is making noise every single practice, and he is on the short list of players who I will be paying attention to come Monday when the pads come on. I want to see what he looks like really going at these guys and really, giving him everything that he's got. I want to see a matchup of him on the edge against Trent Williams. Let's see how those stack up. Let's see how much iron sharpens iron in that regard. And then running back Corey Kiner, the undrafted rookie free agent. Corey Kiner continues to make a positive impression on this team today, looking shifty out there with some nice jump cuts on running plays. And he also displayed some solid hands today on a wheel route where he caught a pass up the sideline against Robert Beal in coverage for 30 yards. Corey Kiner is another guy making waves early on in training camp. And I expect him to kind of be one of the stars of the preseason. He's going to get a ton of run in the preseason. And we know how Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers like to do it. They like to get these undrafted, unheralded running backs and turn them into semi-household names. And Corey Kiner could potentially be the next one in line. From everything you hear every single day, he is impressing, and that is good to hear. Speaking of running backs, second-year man Isaac Guerendo caught a touchdown today in the red zone period from backup quarterback Mac Jones. Isaac Guerendo showing some, very solid receiving ability early on in training camp to go along with his home run threat, top end speed ability in the run game. Isaac Guerendo definitely making the case to, at the very least, get a good share amount of touches in relief of Christian McCaffrey whenever McCaffrey comes off of the field. So good to see Isaac Guerendo continuing to do some good things early on in training camp. And quickly, we have undrafted rookie free agent cornerback Jacob Robinson, who broke up a pass today in the end zone near the back pylon against Ricky Pearsall on a pass attempt from third-string quarterback Tanner Mordecai. Jacob Robinson broke up the pass with ease, and after making that play, the entire secondary was dapping him up, showing some love. Jacob Robinson, another player who is making some strong statements early on in training camp. And again, another player at a position with injuries. And so, I'm very, very eager to see how Jacob Robinson progresses as we move through training camp. And of course, during the preseason, he figures to get a ton of snaps. So good to see Jacob Robinson making a play against a very shifty wide receiver in Ricky Pearsall. Then last note of the video, the kicker competition. We have to talk about it. It's not a sexy position, but it's something that I know is at, towards the top of the list in regards to how 49er fans want to see things come out in training camp. Greg Joseph, the free agent kicker the Niners signed in the offseason, went 4 for 4 today, while the holdover, Jake Moody, went 3 for 4. So after outkicking Joseph recently, Jake Moody now lost in the competition today against Greg Joseph. So really through the first 4 days of camp, I'd say it was kind of split even. I don't think we know anything one way or the other regarding who is separating themselves at the kicker job. One day it's Jake Moody, the next day it's Greg Joseph. We all know it's going to come down to the preseason games and who actually performs when the lights are on, when the pressure's on, when you have guys running at you trying to take your head off. That's when we're going to find out who wins this kicker job, because really it seems like every other day either Joseph or Moody is kind of leading the way. So we haven't learned quite anything yet regarding the fate of Jake Moody. So with that, other than that, the only big note is that pads do come on tomorrow down in Santa Clara. And so you're going to see a ton of content coming out of Santa Clara tomorrow by all the beat writers, the 49ers themselves. You're going to be hearing a ton of news in the coming days with pads finally coming on. And we are really going to get to finally learn about a lot of these guys. You know, everything that you've read up until this point, it's encouraging stuff on a lot of these guys, the Upton Stouts of the world, the Mykel Williams, the Ricky Pearsalls, the Demarcus Robinsons, you've heard a lot of good things, but these guys are playing in t-shirts and shorts. Let's see what happens when the pads come on and these guys are playing football for real. Now, I'm not saying that any of these players, won't do well when the pads do come on, but all I'm saying is you will find out what this team is made of, or you will at least begin to find out starting tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for coverage regarding that. Of course, right here on Keeping the Faith, we are live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, recapping all the day's events in the world of the 49ers. And of course, like I mentioned before, make sure you have your notifications on, because there are times like today when they have a weekend practice that I will be going live afterward, recapping it, talking about the news of the day, all that good stuff. And so there you have it, faithful. That was all of the news and notes from day 4 of training camp. I know at the forefront of my mind is the status of Jauan Jennings with what is being referred to as a calf issue. That could be big. That could be huge. This team cannot afford any more injuries at wide receiver, and Jauan Jennings is hoping to get paid. And so this calf injury could not have come at a worse time, in my opinion. And I also think it's very telling that Jauan Jennings, he's been dealing with a calf injury all, throughout the offseason. And that kind of tells me maybe that's why the 49ers have been hesitant to sign him, because, Jauan Jennings is 28 years old. He's not exactly a 23, 24-year-old. And he's a guy who isn't the fastest anyway. So if he sustains any sort of serious calf injury, or, let's hope it's not anything Achilles related, but just speaking it out there, just throwing it out there. Let's say it was something Achilles related, right? He's not a guy who has any speed to lose. Like, he's not the fastest guy anyway, but if he has any sort of serious lower leg injury that can really compromise him, that's not good. That's not good. And so we will see how this develops, obviously, in the coming days. Someone in the chat mentioned, maybe this clears itself up once Jauan Jennings gets his new contract. Maybe it's all a business decision on Jauan Jennings' part. He wants to get paid, and maybe he was out there making a statement today. Maybe that's why he pulled himself off the field. Who knows? We will see. But it's definitely probably the top storyline going into Monday's practice, at least in my opinion. Let me see what else you guys are saying here in the live chat. Papa J says, giving Moody more chances is like giving Ronnie Bell more chances. I don't disagree with you there, but his draft status would indicate they're going to give him one more chance, whereas Ronnie Bell was a 7th-round pick, so they cut bait on him very fast. Papa J also says, I'm the first to admit I wasn't sold on Mykel, but now I'm excited to see what he's all about based on the training camp reports. Yeah, you and I both, my guy. You and I both. I was not on board with the Mykel Williams pick at the time. You guys know this, but based on everything we've been hearing, I am all aboard the Mykel Williams hype train. I'm not the conductor, but I'm on the train. That's for sure. And I'm telling everyone I know, get aboard, hop on board while you can, because it is leaving the station and picking up speed every single day. And I'm here for it. I can't wait. I can't wait for the preseason, guys. The first preseason game will be Saturday, August the 9th, and against the Denver Broncos at Levi Stadium. That also happens to be the day before my birthday, so that's kind of cool. get to celebrate my birthday weekend watching a 49er game. Now, that's typically how I've always kind of done it because my birthday is, early in August. So a lot of times there's preseason games that do fall on my birthday. But looking forward to celebrating another birthday, watching some 49ers football and seeing a very exciting young 49ers team take the field as they continue to prepare for the upcoming 2025 campaign. Jedi says, Michael Williams is sounding like Chris Jones. Collins needs a new comp. I don't know. From what I've seen from Alfred Collins, he does kind of have some Chris Jones in his game. He's getting off the ball, relatively well and quickly for a guy his size. I don't necessarily disagree that maybe we can do a different comp, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from Alfred Collins, and he's a guy who has impressed me early on in camp after not practicing with the team the entire offseason. From everything you're hearing, his conditioning hasn't really been a problem, and what he does in the preseason is going to go a long way in determining how this depth chart turns out on the defensive line. Let's see. Filthy Casual says, the hype is getting hot. Hope the faithful don't get burned regarding Michael Williams. I'm with you. I'm with you there. The hype is getting extremely, extremely hot. But the good thing is, Michael is out there in practice every single day, making splash plays. He's flashing. He's living up to the billing of being a first-round pick here early on in camp. He's running with the ones, and he's been running with the ones in practice since day one. And not every rookie does that. And as it stands, there's only been 2 rookies who have been running with the ones, most of the time, and that's Michael Williams and Upton Stout. So, I'm going to leave it up to Robert Saleh. I am of the opinion that Robert Saleh knows what he's doing, and I am very encouraged based on what I've heard regarding Michael Williams here early in camp. And once those pads come on tomorrow, boy, oh boy, I think we're going to see something big. I really, really do. Let's see what else we got. 49er Minded chiming in. What up, Bashar? Thanks for tuning in, my guy. He says, I was okay with the Michael pick from the get-go, but at the same time, I wanted an offensive lineman in round 1. But once we made the pick, I'm like, okay, let's make him a beast. I get you. I wanted Walter Nolan. You guys know this if you've been watching the channel all off season. Walter Nolan, meanwhile, wasn't even able to start practicing with the Cardinals when training camp got underway. He had some sort of a lower leg injury from the get-go and hasn't been practicing. So for those of you that were on the Walter Nolan hype train with me, it's not looking so good, at least early on. But I still like the player, and I think he has a bright future. Let's see who else we got in the chat. Filthy Casual says, haven't heard much about Upton Stout. Has he been holding his own? You got to be paying closer attention, Filthy Casual, or I'm gonna start actually thinking you're a filthy casual. Upton Stout has been making plays, man. He's been very sticky in coverage in the first 4 days of camp. Robert Saleh has been sending him on blitzes. There's been nothing but good things said about Upton Stout early in camp, and he's been running with the ones at the nickel spot. Now, of course, him being a smaller guy, once those pads come on tomorrow, we're really going to get to find out what kind of a player he is, how he can kind of maintain his playing. What am I trying to say? Once those pads come on, we'll find out if he's able to hold up with the physicality of the NFL and learn a lot more about the rookie cornerback. But everything so far has been positive on the Upton Stout front. Let's see what else we got in the chat from all the viewers today. Tommy Huxley says, Stout is Demo 2.0. Fight me. I wouldn't go that far because I wouldn't put Upton Stout on the outside. And the Niners will tell you themselves. If you go back and look at Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's post-draft press conference after they drafted Upton Stout, they told you who Upton reminded you of, and that was K'Wan Williams, the former 49ers nickelback. So I'm not gonna call him Demo at all. I'm gonna call him K'Wan Williams. Now, let's see if he can come up and play the run as effectively as K'Wan did. Let's see if he can stick his nose in it and get dirty and kind of tackle as strongly as K'Wan Williams did. But by all accounts, that's kind of who he's looking like. And you see the vision. Robert Saleh comes back, and you see the vision of what this 49er defense can look like. And we went through it several weeks back. I mean, you have Mykel Williams kind of in that Eric Armstead role, playing outside edge rusher on early downs, sliding inside on pass rushing or passing situations. You have Alfred Collins coming in, kind of taking up double teams, kind of like a DeForest Buckner, allowing everyone else to get one-on-ones and eat. Upton Stout looking like K'Wan Williams. I mean, I see the vision. I see the vision of what Robert Saleh is trying to build here. He's trying to build the 2019 defense, but a 2025 updated version of it. And I'm here for it. I like it. I like it a lot. I like what I'm seeing so far from the 49ers defense. David Yang tuning in. What's up, David? He says, we needed that nickel blitz, lost it ever since the Shark left. Absolutely. Yes. And it's not just Upton Stout who's been making noise as a blitzer. You've been hearing a lot about Jason Pinnock coming from the safety spot, coming down into the box and being effective as a blitzer as well. I think you're going to see Robert Saleh dialing up a lot of pressure in a lot of different ways. We all remember how effective the 49ers were able to blitz on occasion when Robert Saleh was here previously. And ever since Robert Saleh left, that element of the 49ers defense kind of went with it. And now that Robert Saleh is back, I think you're going to see him mix up the pass rush looks. You're going to mix up the blitzes, and they're going to be trying to get pressure all the time. And I love the aggressive nature of a Robert Saleh defense. We all know all gas, no brakes. We know that mantra. We know that slogan well here in San Francisco, and it's back. And I'm very excited, man. Everything has been really encouraging for me coming out of 49ers camp, except for the injuries, man. The injuries have definitely put a dark cloud over things, but let's hope that all that stuff will be able to clear itself up and sort itself out by the time we get to week 1. All right, guys, I think that's all we're gonna do today here on the channel. I will be back on Monday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, right here live on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you have your notifications on. And again, if you enjoy the content, if you like what we're doing here, take a look at our Patreon. There's bonus content up there. I will be uploading more bonus content as we go, stuff you will not see here on YouTube. There's also an awesome community chat to be a part of. And we also do monthly giveaways over there on the Patreon for Patreon members only. So if you enjoy the content and you want to show me some love and help support as we continue to get this thing rolling, check out the Patreon. All the details are down below in the description box. Patreon.com/keepingthefaith would be greatly appreciated. Not required at all, but for those of you that do sign up, I thank you very, very much. With that, I will see you guys on Monday when the pads come on. We got a big day tomorrow, faithful. Let's go.